Pollard's on a double though, and he finds a third through the smoke.
It's just an ult. Yeah, he gets a 3K with an ult.
With 3 seconds left, Final lands the pre-fire. Nobody can kill him in time.
And he clutches it out. What a play from the alibi as the lobby player goes unchecked.
Welcome back. Third game of the day up next, Blue Panda. And like we said, right? SCS, every level of Siege. We have T1 versus T1. Astralis versus Mexican Pro League team, 6 Karma.
Yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's not every day that you see these, these two teams and these two competitions clash. So, like 6 Karma, they're coming in, they've got something to prove. And to take on a team like Astralis in their first match of SCS7, look, I think they're excited. I think they're super keen.
Yeah, and this is, not only T1 versus T1, a regional clash as well as 6 Karma, Mexican Pro League, part of the overarching LATAM scene. We're going to talk about Astralis up first. So, you know him, you love him. Forest Shuttle iconic J90 and a recent roster move. DP Fire has been benched, and they bring in the young gunner of Spiff, who we last saw in SCS with Aerial Arise Academy. And he got the shot right to T1.
Yeah, I mean, like SCS really has sort of been that proving ground for a lot of players that, over the last couple of years you've seen rocket into Tier 1, and I would imagine, seeing Spiff come in is no exception. It's going to be interesting to see how he gels with the team. I mean, Astralis as an org have been quite supportive of the community as well. So, look, going on whatever's been going on behind the scenes, it's both a blessing and a curse. I think for Astralis, their first matchup is against 6 Karma. It's going to be a hell of a match. I'm super excited to watch it, but I would imagine it could potentially be quite a brutal one too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Spiff can do. He was one of my favorite players to cast in T3, but we're going to actually highlight one of my favorite players to cast when he was in T2, Forest. A 1.14 rating in the NAL in Stage 3, plus 17, going 94 and 77. Hella positive on the entry, too, 25 and 10. Kind of playing a bit of a flex role. 5 plants as well, so he can play objective. Forest has, for a very long time, been a good all-around player, right? He can frag, he can play support, he can play the objective. He can play flex. He can calm. I think he IGLs too. Forest has kind of always been that all-inclusive package, and I was really happy to see when he got his shot at T1, and he's been killing it. And like you said, this is going to be a real test for Astralis, for their new pickup Spiff, and for the IGLing capabilities of Forest to go up against a different region with a new player.
Well, I mean, it's always that interesting conversation when you see, those Tier 1 teams playing in a competition like this, because, people will make that excuse, oh, look, it's not Pro League. It's not a competition that they'll really care about. They're just doing this to have a bit of fun. But one of my favorite things that I ever heard Juicy from the Pittsburgh Knights say is, it shouldn't matter what caliber of competition it is. If you're coming to play a competition, you should become play to win. So I would imagine Astralis, if they, I would hope that they have that sort of same mindset, especially coming up against a team like 6 Karma. They should be bringing their absolute A game coming into this matchup, because you can sure as hell, guarantee that 6 Karma will be doing the same.
And speaking of, we can look at their roster. This team came second place in the MXPL Grand Finals. Skimzy, Akabil, Jack, Pixie, and Morph. I don't believe it's not the exact bar for bar same team, but the core remains the same, and they tore through our quals. It was actually really funny. I think they lost 2 games. They lost to Reality TV, who still had Medium Packer, and I think they lost to Dan 3041's team, which is pretty funny. But most of the matches, they absolutely dominated. And these 5 guys have an incredible amount of gun skill. I remember a lot of, I think it's like Skimzy, Pixie, and Morph from like 3 years ago in ESA. I remember their coach too, Olympo, casting him. And we can look at our highlight player. Our highlight player, Skimzy, who we actually have his stats from Pro League, from MXPL, and I mean, he did pretty well, right? 1.12 rating, plus 17, 204 kills. Actually, I don't know why this says plus 17. That's a lot more than 17. 204 kills and 169 deaths. If I do quick maths, that's 35? Yeah, that's a plus 35. Entry 49 and 38 plus 11. This is the guy that you're going to be looking to be first in, last out, getting those kills and taking that map control.
Yeah, and I'm quite excited to see what map we are going to be heading to. Of course, between these two teams, I mean, you're looking at some of the best in North America, and look, coming in, unfortunately, I don't have as much time to catch the Copa Elite as I would have liked, but. I catch a couple of VODs here and there. I love watching the LATAM play style. It's hyper aggressive. They are not shy when it comes to the gunfight. So hopefully, Astralis are prepared for that.
Yeah, and what we saw in the quals too, Six Karma did not slow down. I'm really hoping we see that again against Astralis, because you can kind of take advantage of that new player kind of style. We're gonna look at what maps are being banned by both these teams. Theme Park and Club immediately removed from the equation. Theme Park is very much an NA map. They don't want to take Astralis there. Border and Sky, more maps that NA have historically really liked. Club, Cafe, Chalet, maps that everyone should know, and maps that you can kind of get a little cheeky on. And Clubhouse especially being a map that LATAM teams tend to favor. Villa and Oregon follow, meaning that for the second game in a row, we're going to get to see Bank, but really, this is going to be LATAM Bank.
Oh boy, that's we go back to back Bank. It's not something that I'm used to. Obviously, in our region, we usually it's the cycle of Villa and then Clubhouse and then Oregon and then back to Villa again. And maybe if you're really lucky, because the match doesn't really count for much in terms of seeding, we go to Theme Park or something like that. But look, in terms of the numbers, I think they speak for themselves. A lot of confidence in Astralis. Look, I'm backing the Mexicans here. I want to see them do well. I want to see them place highly in the competition. But you look at Astralis, historically, realistically, I think they're a smart bet at the moment. But I'm here for Six Karma to upset.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that even though I voted Astralis myself, there weren't more votes for Six Karma. But speaking of, we don't know a whole lot about that team, and to help break them down, we've got Olimpo, their coach, for an interview.
Hi guys, my name is Olimpo and I'm coach for Six Karma. And for me, I think it's really important, especially for us, because our qualifiers are versus the Brazilian guys. The better competition that we have, better prepare for that qualifier the team will be. So we did two changes. We changed Robbie and Fungi, and we put Akibel and Jack. Akibel is really important for the frag potential of the team. In the meta where 90% of the time you don't plant the diffusers, it's really important to have that early kills or frags on the team. So Akibel is doing a really good job. Jack also is helping us, especially on the AGL side, on the defensive side, especially on situation that we need like the team stay calm and have order. That's what Jack brings to the team. So are really important, that two changes of the team. For us, I think it's good and feels good to have these competitions with the team. We constantly scrim against CL and NA teams. Like for 2 years now, we don't have compete directly against them, so it really benefits us. So we can have really good matches on this competition. And well, the fact that young talents can face T1 teams motivates everyone. Like our team, like CL teams, that you can play against the most important teams of NA for the growth of Rainbow Six helps a lot, and the careers of each player so have a light or they can see, everyone in the scene can see them. I think we all inspired by the G2OG. I also influenced a lot by the W7M guys. I think they are the best team in every aspect of the players. They don't do nothing wrong, so it's very difficult to beat a team that all their players do everything right. I think us versus any T-War team is a really good match, especially for us. We compete a lot against the Brazil, and for almost 2 years we can compete against T1 team in an official match. I mean, it really means a lot for us. I mean, I watch many bots. I like to watch and analyze teams. We watch the Mayor a lot also. We like to go to the movies a lot to relax. Maybe go to eat some tacos. My favorite song to play on game day is it's called Por si acaso, Herencia de Patrones. Recently playing Modern Warfare 2 a lot. I think it's really fun, but also play Valorant for relaxing time. I like play mini games with other friends outside Rainbow Six, like Golf It, Pool Party, things that make you laugh and relax.
So good to hear from Olympo. Been a while since I've seen his face, actually like 3 years, in fact. But again, Astralis versus 6 Karma. A lot of us voted Astralis with the exception of Light Rose, right? Yeah. And I think it's another case of known quantity. MXPL, right? They were second place MXPL. They went to, I think they were in Copa Elite, but they've never had international experience. And I think that's what really separates Astralis. Because, right, Astralis, they've been a top 10 team in NA for a long time. They didn't make this major, but they did go to Charlotte, and they were top 4 there as well. And I think Spiff is going to be a hell of a pickup.
Look, yeah, I think you're right. I back you there. The numbers game, it sort of just does favor Astralis. But, like I said, I'm back in 6 Karma for the upset this tournament. But my justification is, I think, yeah, they're probably going to lose this one, but that'll be the motivation they need to push and then win the whole tournament. That's it. That's what I'm banking on. I reckon 6 Karma could ride the motivation of a loss to Astralis here to a tournament victory.
I just realized, too, all the names on Astralis are different. I think Jack is probably J90. So Forest is Forest. The only time that like Forest has had a normal name, it isn't like Monkey PQ or Obama.Embers or something dumb like that. Jack is probably J90, JD, and then they have JD Hogg, Shadow, and Simon Riley. Why do they do this to us? Shadow, maybe Shuttle?
Bold call. I couldn't tell you, honestly. I couldn't.
I'm literally about to go into the match chat and then ask call out.
Oh well, look. As we look to get on into the Van plays in just a second, the Twitter poll, 68 to 33, so a 2/3 vote for Astralis in this matchup. Which I mean, look, if I'm being honest, I think is about right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm happy with that. Meanwhile, the bands coming out, 6 Karma with the first, and it's gonna be Nook because of course we're playing Bank. Why wouldn't it be Nook? Second one, there's a ton of options though. Probably not Thatcher. We don't really see him banned all that much nowadays. Probably Hibana. No, okay, it's gonna be Thatcher anyway. All right, never mind. I'll just shut up. So secondary EMPs. You don't know what you're talking about. Secondary EMP is probably gonna be taken all the time. Hibana's still left up, so she'll probably be played every single round. That's a new one.
I mean, we saw it in the last match. I mean, in the start. I think it is targeted a little bit more around that basement defense than anything. But Kai, that one as well makes a lot of sense. So those hatches are going to be a bit free. But I mean, Azami let through. Oh my God, Azami, Valkyrie let through. Flores on the attack. There is a lot that is going to be available to play.
All right. So Mira, Valkyrie, and Azami all being left up. And I mean, hey, I'm here for it. However, only one of them will be played in our opening round. 6 Karma opting for open area. They'll be bringing the Azami, but foregoing the other 2. Castle being played as well. Means that that castle barricade is going to go on the kitchen double door, and he'll probably help in holding down the horizontal. Sometimes we see castle barricades used for top floor too, but I think this setup is a little more common. They've got the delay power from that Goyo as well, and I'm wondering how many people they're going to sit up on that top floor.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, this is going to be a hell of a match. This is going to be rather interesting. You look at the attack setup. Dokkaebi and the Ying coming into play. They've got the Hibana for the hatches, should they look that way, which I would imagine they would. And then they've got whoever Simon Riley is playing the buck.
So I'm getting confirmation. Simon Riley is Shuttle. JD Hogg is Spiff. And Jack is J90. Meaning that
okay.
Shadow is Who am I forgetting on this team?
A bomb has been located.
I mean, you're the North American native. You should be knowing this, man.
Oh my god. Wait. What is wrong with me? All right, I'm checking Wikipedia. I'm copping out.
You're forgetting iconic.
Ah, iconic. All right. Oh, wow, I forgot iconic. I'm an idiot. Anyway, JD Hogg, otherwise known as Spiff, is our first casualty, as Skimzy, the man I said you need to watch out for, gets our lead-off hit. How did I forget iconic? Oh my god.
North American tier 2 caster, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Crow, the one and only.
I'm so sorry.
At 6 Karma, they draw first blood in this matchup, the battle of the Pro League teams between Mexico and North America. So they're going to be pretty stoked with that, I would imagine. Unfortunately, it is not the round set and done. They've still got to play out the remainder of it. And you can see Astralis wasting their time and recuperating from that initial loss. They're looking to get things open nice and cleanly so they can pressure onto the site. But in terms of the overall drones, there's 3 remaining here, Crow, with 1:20 to play.
Not a lot of info for Astralis to be working off of. You got 1:15 remaining. There's still players lurking downstairs in the basement that they're going to have to hunt down as well. The Ying works her way in solo through lobby, aided only by her Candelas, evades the shots from Jack, nearly lands the headshot on the Skims. He finally grabs it, but it's enough time for Jack to reposition and land that trade. 3 versus 4, so still the man count in the favor of 6 Karma. They've only got 50 more seconds to wait out the clock.
Jack, from what I understand, trialing with the team through the qualifiers was officially added as of today. So they're looking for him to do a bit of work. He's found one already. As it stands, though, Astralis trying to get themselves the double hex drop. First one just absolutely mulched the Kabeel, and Morphed find 2. And with 25 seconds remaining, Forest, nothing he can do against the overwhelming force of Pixie and his M596 Karma. Take the first round here against Astralis.
Fantastic opener, what you're really looking for if you're 6 Karma. And a lot of those drones I gotta point the finger at and why they lost that round. They didn't have a whole lot of site info. Those offsite players were quite the headache. It was a really late clear from that Ying, and solo at that. Dude, the names are so messy. I forgot who was actually playing the Ying. Maybe it was J9O since he's picking it up again. And he was able to get one, sure, but was instantly traded back. So you lose that back pressure. And like you said, they're just kind of forcing the hatch drop, and that's a Gambit play. It's a 50-50, and it went in the favor of 6 Karma. So first round goes the way of the Mexicans. CEO now going to be the next defense. They go to top 4 before Lockers, interestingly enough. I wonder if maybe that's a regional difference.
I would imagine so. You look at competition around the world when it comes to Rainbow Six, there are those that are more willing to lean into certain sites than others. But, I mean, you look at the defense here, Crow. Echo in the hands of Jack. Morphed is bringing the Doc, the newly buffed Doc as well. 200 health
Doc.
stim. That is huge.
Doc is the GOAT. I'm so glad he's back in the... Like, you have no idea how happy I am to see him back in the meta. But Doc and Echo together, 2-3 armors, 2 MP5s with 1.5s as well. And with how late Astralis were pushing in last round, I kind of like this Echo pick from 6 Karma. Especially with how aggressive they've been. They really look to waste time, not with utility, but just by getting in your face as much as possible.
Well, it's the Pro 92. The P90 Doc in play.
Morphed is a man of culture.
He's looking to be as feral as possible.
So, P90 and the AK for Shuttle on that Nomad. Now that that slim wall has been opened, there's no one playing next to the stock reinforcement. Forrest on that Osa will be looking to set up on top square, control the hallway right next to Janitor, and likely the breach into the site as well. They do know that there is no one sitting downstairs. Unfortunately, Iconic does not catch the player Skimzy dipping back into Janitor. But here's Forrest with the shield. Skimzy gonna get aggressive, but peel back just as the shield is placed, figuring he didn't have enough time to wrap around and didn't want to deal with any support that Forrest could have possibly had behind him.
First half of the round, God, not a single player taking any damage. Morph playing the elevator with that P90 could be quite dangerous. You look at it, 6 Karma looking aggressively for these angles. They want to take these gunfights. They don't want Astralis getting a foothold in the building and getting themselves a chance at setting up, especially with the likes of an Osa in play. Those Talon shields can be hugely detrimental, and Forrest, he's already in. Shield out. First kill goes the way of Astralis, but it's traded back immediately by Morph. Plant going down. Forrest has the bear shield to keep himself in play, but Skimzy, that is an unfortunate kill to be losing, because Forrest, I mean, actually, he got the reset off.
Wait,
no,
what?
the Yokai drones. Can he find the head? Pixie.
Pixie!
Just missing the opportunity.
No!
Needs to clear out the player square. He's got the shield there as well. This is not a great situation. 6 Karma in a horrendous spot right now.
They get the kill on the planter at the very least, but up against the window repels, the Osa shields, the plant being down, the situation gets more and more hopeless, especially as Pixie falls. Morph attempting to get one of those players off the rappel in lobby, but is unsuccessful, and at this point, the time working ever so in his opponent's favor. What an attack from Astralis, especially Forrest working his way in. I thought the Yokai drones were really going to clutch up, but thanks to that Osa shield and the air jab, preventing Skimzy from working his way in. I'm surprised Pixie wasn't able to thread the needle there. Maybe the shield, maybe there wasn't a gap, and it just looked like there was. It could have been a visual bug, and maybe he didn't have a chance to. But either way, missing those shots, whether he missed those shots or whether he didn't have the opportunity anyway, Forrest getting that plant down was really the nail in the coffin. The setup that Astralis had for the post plant, not even for the execute, just the post plant too, was nearly undefeatable.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I think, again, it speaks to potential regional differences, whereas, you know, Mexico might be willing to go to CEO, obviously North America, understanding what they need to do and shutting it down. It's the power of the OSA on sites like that. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see it coming into the server attack as well. You could do much the same thing in that server push with the Talon shields. But look, 1-1, 6 Karma, they're not blowing out of this matchup by any means. It was just an unfortunate loss there in the second. Now they go to the third, and let's try and bring it back.
They finally go to Lockers. It's weird that Lockers is like, I don't know if it's their tertiary site and they're just switching up the order. But no
I know
matter
in
what,
ANZ, Staff Open is usually the open site for most teams, and then it's Basement CEO. They're sort of secondary together.
Is CEO really a secondary though?
I think they're interchangeable as a secondary. It really comes down to how you feel in the moment.
Yeah. Either way, playing Lockers third, interesting decision from 6 Karma. We'll see if it works out. They're still just bringing Azami. This is usually the site where you see Mira played almost every time if she's left up. So 6 Karma not opting to bring her. Just not wanting to, I guess, restrict themselves into having to play said Miras. That's the one thing about Mira. She can be a really powerful operator, but like it's always said, she's polarizing. If you have a Mira, you have to play around the Mira. You can't be as fluid. In the meantime, Astralis, like you said, they're bringing the Osa again. They're also bringing Monty.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
8-0. So not only have they got the 2 shields that will be working their way towards the site, but you've got the 0 who can potentially deal with some utility from range with the Argus cameras. Plus, I mean, you get a couple of cheeky cameras in those off positions. Makes up for the lack of, flank drones if you can't get them there if they're cleared out. So 6 Karma definitely have their work cut out for them. You can already see this isn't just a single-pronged approach. They've pushed into server. They're looking to get control of Square as well, so they have that security in going for the push. And Forrest, oh no! Wow. Skimzy, absolute miscalculation there, not anticipating the aggressive push through server.
Tunnel visioned on top blue. And can you blame him? I mean, that's what he's tasked with holding. Curious to me, though, that he didn't hear Forrest drop that shield, but either way, a phenomenal first pick. The wall being soft means that the Ace has a potential to be shot out, but Akavil won't land the shots, and the wall has been opened. Well, the Kiba barrier goes out to protect the defense from that angle, but hey, that might actually work in favor of the attack should they go in for the plant. That's no longer an angle that the defense can use either. He does start to use some Kivas to push his way up, though, and catches Spiff, but in the meantime, he's smoked off. The plant is going down. J90, another kill. Another for Iconic. 2 for Iconic. He's downstairs. He dropped the hatch. He's in sight. He finally gets killed by Pixie, but the damage has been done. What a drop from the 0. He's still got 2 gas canisters. He can waste a little bit of time to force Forrest off of this plant. But is it going to be enough? Only 1 remaining. 45 seconds left for this attack to get underway. Pushes all the way up, though, through his own gas, but he's caught out. Nailed by the Osa, finished by the Buck, and Astralis take the lead 2-1.
Yeah, you need to feel like maybe Six Karma are falling at their own hands with a bit too aggressive of an approach to these rounds, and I think Astralis have done a bit of homework in that in that aspect, trying to read into what Six Karma are going to be bringing to the competition, because the last couple of rounds they've lost one or two players to some maybe slightly aggressive positioning and wanting to take some gunfights, only to be punished for it. So it's unfortunate. But Six Karma, clearly they've got the mechanical skill. Unfortunately, they're just not quite covering their bases. I mean, you saw that Skimsy going down, Iconic being able to push down and find 3, just aggressively drop it into the site. So, look, it's still early enough that they can adjust.
I do like too. I'm glad to see that. At least in the first 3 rounds, it seems like Astralis is taking this seriously. You know, a big concern of mine and a lot of people are the T1 NA teams going to, try? Are they going to be 100%? It seems like Astralis is, and I mean, why wouldn't they, right? You have a new player. You want to make sure they get that game day experience before you head into, stuff like, well, I guess they're not playing SI quals, but into SI, and then new season. Oh my God, yes, Spiff's first T1 tournament is going to be SI. Holy crap. That's daunting. That's a little daunting.
It was like Parabellum qualifying for Six Invitational through the qualifiers. It's going to be a trial by fire.
That'll certainly be fun to watch. He's
it's
1
crazy.
and 2 right
Parabellum
now.
played at SI before they played at North American League.
Yep. They actually didn't they play SI before they played CL? I can't remember.
I can't speak to CL, but I can speak to the fact that Six Karma have found another opening pick.
So, yeah, it looked like Shuttle just not ready for the punch holes that Akabil was playing on. So they lose their Buck super early on, and, on a downstairs site like this, that is not at all what you're looking for as the attack. You lose a Gone 6, you lose the Skeleton Key, you do not have the redundancy with that sledge, and Skimsy on a run out grabs another. Iconic dusted, and he gets away. There's no one in position to catch him. I don't think there's going to be an attacker moving into the basement, and wow, J9O one-tapped by Akabil. 2 kills now for this Azami, and I mean, we've only been a minute into this round, and already Forrest and Spiff are stuck in a 2v5.
I mean, this is what... I think this is the ideal situation. This is what Six Karma wanted when they were playing aggressively. This is what it looks like when Six Karma's aggression is rewarded. Unfortunately, Morphed, again, caught look at the wrong direction. So we've had that a couple of times now for Six Karma, which might be, it might have to be something they address going later into Bank, of course. But a 4-2 scoreline, they've got the advantage. I mean, they've got all the tools they need to close this round out. Unfortunately, we know Astralis are always good for at least one.
Forrest has made his way into lobby, uncontested. There's a castle barricade waiting for him, as well as an open hole and a bulletproof cam. The bulletproof cam actually shoots at him for whatever reason. He's going to try and take this fight against Jack, the Goyo. Bulletproof cam constantly pinging him, and yeah, with full info, Jack is winning that fight 9 times out of 10. Shuttle now the last remaining party member of Astralis in a 1 versus 4. He gets a couple of shots on Jack through the wall, but not enough to finish. There's now a player trying to flank him. That's Skimsy coming up top square. Tough player to go against if you're a young, rising T1 player. It seems like they've got the info, and despite getting the pre-fire down, he'll succeed in damage and finally downing and finishing off Skimsy. But still 25 seconds left. Not a whole lot of time for Spiff to try and get this clutch. Pixie is watching his walk down. The hatch is closed. They know exactly where he is thanks to those shots through the floor, and he'll just go for broke. If he gets a kill, great, but he doesn't. Pixie shuts him down, and Six Karma tie the score.
Unfortunate pre-fire on the wrong angle, but I mean, in that situation, what can you really do? You had tagged already, you've got your 1. You just sort of make sure that you're going into the next one as quick as possible, and, well, we head to the 5th round, 2-2. Look, Six Karma, rounds 2 and 3, their aggression got punished. They sort of found the formula there in the 4th round with the metered aggression. It wasn't just full send all the way. Aside from Skimsy going outside for the a bit of an external inspection of the building, but they definitely got the aggression to the levels they needed it.
Now back to CEO, where Astralis had quite the execute in post plant. They won't be running the Osa again, so we will see a different look. Instead, Gridlock. What a lineup. Gridlock, Dokkaebi, Finka, Ace, Ying. Never mind. We got Osa back. So more smokes, I guess? Maybe? To assist that Ying and the Osa?
It looks like they're going to go the same approach that won them around last time.
The defense.
Yeah. I mean, they should get that CEO wall open. They'll get the Talon shield in. They'll go for the plant attempt the same as last time. But look, the Gritty coming in. It's not every day that you see a Gridlock picked.
Interested to see what Shuttle does with that. He is bringing the smokes, as is both the Osa and the Ying. Of course, with 6 smokes, you don't really need more than that, so Iconic can pick up those EMPs. Astralis are pinging... They're pinging something. What are they pinging? They're pinging a window. They're pinging a lot of stuff.
Asking someone to prep pop the window. Oh, okay, no,
wow!
never mind. They read that perfectly.
The 1-2 punch. Maybe that's the singular reason why they brought the Gridlock. There you go. Wow, they just used all 4 of them on stock.
That was, I mean, look, that was a phenomenal read. Astralis, proven one of the best in the biz at the moment in North America. Info was there. They set themselves up for it. They had to play cover the angle, and Skimsy was shut down all but for free. Akabil, though, he wants it. He's hungry.
Yeah.
The side's better of it, though. He's going to play the smart option. Doesn't want to full send out the window and risk himself playing in a position that Skimsy was in last time, especially given that there's 2 players out there covering.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Trying to breach open the wall, they see that it is jammed. There's a couple different ways you can go about clearing it. You can either bring Iconic over, grab those EMPs, or just shoot it from the window. Seems like shooting it from the window is going to be the option that Astralis go with. They'll open one of those Kiva barriers. Spiff is just worried about a potential aggressive play or run out from the defense before he goes ahead and shoots that jammer. We're at a bit of a standstill, though, up until Astralis are able to open that wall. Forest now on the window. Maybe just going to ignore opening that wall instead. Just go for the smokes and the Yings. They're going for it. Here they are. The execute's coming. Forest is in. Candela's to assist. He's getting that plant down. No C4 potential at all because Pixie is so far away from the site. Morph is able to get a kill onto Iconic, but what does it matter? The plant has gone down, and now it's post with Astralis on these windows.
I mean, that was a play from the main lobby. It needed to happen so much sooner. Jack on Jack violence, unfortunately, does not go the way of 6 Karma with their newest edition. Akabil there morphed as well, but you got 2 players covering these windows right now, so this is a dangerous spot to be in. Akabil, he just walks straight into the waiting arms of old Spiff there, and he's taken down for it. Morph, he's going to try his hand now. Does he spot the pixel? No, the shot's coming in. He's in a dangerous spot. He's going to go for the long arm attempt. Pixie needs to cover. He spots him, but no.
Wow.
Look at that. Spiff's going big morph. He almost pulls it out. He was seconds away, but it's not to be, and Astralis will take CEO again.
J9O with the coverage from the window. Incredible play on that Ying, and again, an incredible execute. It seems like CEO has just really been figured out by Astralis. And I mean, Billy, remember you asked me before, why does NA not play this site? Well, that's why. It's one of those sites that at least in NA, it's kind of been figured out. Like if you have enough smokes and you have enough people on windows, you just win. It's pretty hard to defend. 6 Karma learning that the hard way. 2 out of 3 of Astralis' points coming on that site. Lockers, where their 3rd point was claimed, also going to be played by 6 Karma, but this time they've brought Mira. So we'll see her in play. Is that going to be enough to deal with the Monty of Forest?
I mean, it's about shoring up those, weak links. And last time, it was the whole top of Blue Stairs. Skimsy was just taken freely. Forest pushing through, but it's not going to be a Monty this time, it would seem. No Monty, no Osa, in fact, as we do see the switch out before we get into the action phase. So this is different. Obviously, a lot of prioritization around those hatches with the Hiban and the secondary hard breach gadget, so it seems that maybe Astralis are looking to go a different way with it.
They could go for Vault. That's very possible, especially with a Ying and a Dokkaebi. I think going for a vault drop is a very real possibility, especially with the mirror in play. You just kind of completely circumvent those black mirrors. We'll have to see. Astralis do have plenty of time to change their minds if need be, as they're starting with a full top-down clear. Going to be spearheaded by people such as Shuttle and Spiff on the Buck and the Iana. I guess the drones may be confirming that there is nobody on the top floor. Is there anyone on the second floor? Or on the first floor? I don't know. I think there's no roam present. So Astralis are going to be able to get in, work their way through, and decide rather quickly which direction they want to go for.
It's good to see, though. You know, Spiff has been on that camo grind. He's got the golds unlocked.
Yeah.
But look, they are doing their due diligence. They are making sure that they get as much information as possible before they go for that execute, knowing full well that Six Karma like to thrive in the aggression. So they're not going to play this one carelessly at all. And we start to see those hatches being opened up. Skimsy being circumvented. He's got to back himself off here because they are going to clear that hatch easy.
Yeah, no shield on blue means that the hatch being popped is a death sentence for anyone playing in server. Skimsy and Akabil make the smart decision. The red hatch has been opened as well. So it seems like Astralis are going to be going for more of a standard execute assisted by that Ying, but the vault is being opened as well. They do have the Ying sitting on drone in lobby. The fact that Iconic is now moving towards garage is making me think once again that it's going to be a vault drop. There's someone behind the ambulance though, and he kind of dies without any recourse. Akabil the first frag.
Oh my.
Another follow-up from Jack thanks to the C4. Shuttle stuck in fire. And boy, did this attack not go nearly as well as Astralis wanted it to.
Six Karma with the fullest round win to close out the half. Keeping it nice and even at 3-3. And look, I think still the smart bet is Astralis at this point, but there are those who may have bet some channel points that might be sweating a little.
3-3. Six Karma. I gotta say, have impressed. That attack from Astralis though was a bit odd. I don't know. Like one solo garage, one solo main stairs, and like elevator drop. That was against a Goyo. Like I had assumed a vault drop, but I didn't think it was gonna go that poorly. So I guess good job to Six Karma for fighting back. Akabil 7-3. J90 not just ahead of him. We'll see lockers up first for the Astralis defense. No Mira in play, but they do grab a Pulse and a Maestro. So plenty of info at the defense's fingertips, comboed with the 3 gas canisters and 2 C4s. It's going to be real tough for Six Karma to get a plant down unless they're pressuring some other part of the site.
I mean, it's interesting. You look at the kill spread of the 3-3 half, and it doesn't quite feel what you'd expect, honestly. Just feels a little bit lower on the average. But here we are, ready to go. Astralis on the defense now, looking to try and deny Six Karma any chance at a victory. But look at it already. First kill goes the way of Astralis. It's traded back immediately, though.
I mean, yeah, you lose your Maestro, but you did take out the Ying. A huge piece of utility for the attack, working their way into the bottom floor. And remember that change with the Maestro, right? Even though he's dead, you can still move his cams. You can't shoot with them, but it's powerful info nonetheless. I'm sure Astralis are probably happy with that trade. I mean, J90 is playing upstairs anyway. I don't know if he planned to die, but, you know, it's always a risk you take when you play aggressively like that. The hatch is now being opened by the Hibana of Jack rather quickly, considering Astralis, just like Six Karma, are not roaming at all. So all this control, this hatch presence for Six Karma is free. No blue control either. Means that Skimsy is going to be able to work his way down. Vault is being opened as well by this Zero, and Six Karma, plenty of avenues for success.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Forrest, open the rotate there. You look at it. Shuttle has a big job here on the pulse, just feeding that information through. Should be able to relate quite comfortably, but there are players now setting themselves up for that push in through from server. Walls should be opened up, so they should have an avenue to go for a plant attempt, but Forrest has those 3 smokes still in play. Still 2 nitro cells as well. So Six Karma, by no means, are in a position where they can comfortably get this plant down.
More utility being burned from this defense. I think a Goyo canister and a gas canister, both popping at the same time. So you'll lose a little bit of time if you're Astralis. Jaeger of Spiff playing all the way up on this staircase, daring Morphed to peek him, but instead, Zero might drop Vault. This is going to be a really important kill if he can pick off that pulse, but there's probably someone watching this hatch just in case. It seems like, yeah, that's going to be Iconic's job. Making sure that Morph can't make anything happen as the utility continues to burn away the clock. 25 seconds, Skimzy and Jack make their way in. There's Iconic getting the kill on the hatch drop. The pulse gets taken out. Sorry, the pulse almost gets taken out, but it's Forrest and now Spiff to die. The plant going down from Jack. The C4 is far too late. It kills the coverage, but it's a 2 versus 2 in the post plant. Still winnable for either side as Pixie backs all the way off. Tries to sledge the Evil Eye. Gets shot in the back. The counter defuse going through. They get the kill. Iconic's just gonna stick it. They've got the angle. Shuttle for 2. Astralis, the retake.
Disable the bomb diffuser. Bomb defusing attempt failed.
As much as Six Karma finessed the plant
Incredible.
there, Astralis finessed the defuse. They read that phenomenally. Unfortunately, the post-plant positions were underwhelming, to say the least. And unfortunately, with Skimzy going down the way that he did, couldn't have any further effect, having cut through the site itself. But look, it proves that Six Karma can get onto the site and get the job done. Unfortunately, they struggle to close it out. But the fact that they are contesting Astralis as well as they are is quite impressive.
That round was a nail biter. Very, very close. Astralis, I really thought they were about to lose that round, considering it didn't look like they expected Skimzy and Jack to just walk it down the middle of the site, despite having the pulse. Maybe they were ready for it and they just lost the fight, but either way, I do have to say that kill from Iconic on the guy dropping Vault Hatch probably also allowed them to win the round. If Zero makes an impact, then it's a completely different story, but boy, those two defenders know what they were doing. Especially with that player backing off to garage, knowing that the sledge was knowing that the sledge was in garage and the other player was upstairs was all they needed to know. Iconic goes to the defuse, Shuttle has the coverage on the hatch, knowing that the sledge wasn't going to get there in time. Perfect 2v2 from Astralis. So they lead 4-3, even though it was probably a little closer than they would have liked. But they'll swap to open area. And just as with every good open area defense, they'll be operating on this top floor with the castle, the shields, and the side stock hold. Something that's actually a little strange to me that I guess we'll have to ask in the interview is I don't think we've seen Valkyrie played yet at all.
No, just thinking about it, I don't think we have.
On Bank of all maps. Like,
yeah,
that's really weird.
Rather odd. Skimzy wants to get the shock drone in. Almost lost it there. Has to be careful if they want to clear this utility out. I mean, they've doubled down. The players and the Twitch in play to clear out this defensive utility is quite big. Maybe a missed opportunity. I mean, look, you look at the bulletproof camera, potentially a couple of those mute jammers, and if you're really keen, the razor blooms that you'll be able to take out with the shock drone. But if nothing else, it is just extra information.
I'm surprised that Astralis have fallen off the roam so quickly, even leaving the shield upstairs unmanned. Spiff now kind of in the basement. But it has been a minute and a half, I guess, and Six Karma still haven't taken full control of this top floor. Just as I say that, Pixie finally jumps his way in. And we'll see them start to work on this vertical game. Akabil taking in through lobby. Jack on that rappel, probably overlooking that Kanto angle all the way down the main hall as he's now on the roof. Six Karma, it's odd that they're not putting as much stock in this top floor.
I mean, yeah, potentially. Right. Oh my god, Forrest.
No drones, I guess.
Akabil just absolutely removed from the round, unfortunately. Has been a big player for the team. There's 2 rounds in a row now where he's really struggled. And you look at it, Six Karma now have to try and recuperate. They don't have the information of the Gemini replicator. They're going to have to brute force their way in, open these hatches, and hope that their gunfights are successful. But there's still razor blooms. There's still all sorts to try and consider.
Wow, Spiff actually re-engaged there. Morph, no info in sight means he's just killed by Shuttle behind a couch. Now Pixie and Skimzy, the last two alive in a 2 versus 5. Pixie being pressured outside by Iconic, peeking that electrical door. Skimzy on the other side of the map, working his way in on a solo push. The beepers reveal his location. There's a deagle just around the corner. J9O doesn't win the fight. The time is still so low, and as Pixie dies, the round is pretty much over. Iconic gets the last 2, and Astralis now go up 5-3.
Despite what was a pretty decent start in the first half, it seems that maybe Six Karma have run out of a bit of steam. Astralis feeling a little bit more comfortable now on the defense, know exactly how they want to close this one out, and they're doing so. And yeah, look, it all really just sort of dominoed from there. Akibil just sort of caught in that off angle, wasn't anticipating the player in the first floor elevator, and from there the losses just kept going.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they
And here, this is kind of what I expected from our T2 match earlier between Reality TV and IF,
discover the location.
is Archives over CEO. Like I said, with the way we saw Astralis attack, I think you're beginning to understand why it's not so popular in NA. This site has definitely taken the place of CEO for, I would say, the majority of teams. Even though, you know, again, it wasn't all that popular right after the bank rework, and now it's kind of come into its own again. Still no Valkyrie being played. We still, but we do see the Azami from J9O. He'll probably hold down. He'll probably be the main guy upstairs. Usually we see the Azami kind of in janitor-ish. He's of course got assist from the shield. Bandit as well coming in to, I think, protect his stock walls. Interestingly enough. Castle barricades to create that labyrinth for the attack. Funnels that the defense creates so that the attackers can go where the defense wants. The Six Karma have certainly have their work cut out for them in taking this top floor. The roam clears have been a real struggle throughout their first few attacks, even though there's not really been much of a roam to deal with. Skimzy, though, takes out J9O really, really early, and that, I mean, that's the perfect opening pick of your Six Karma.
That's a big one. Indeed. I mean, you lead Fragger for the team for Astralis here, and then such an early pick is going to be a little bit jarring for Astralis as well. Especially, you know, you look, it's an Azami. You're not going to have those keeper barricades in play now. And
now, you're not going to have, I think, the C4 of the bandit. I'm pretty sure he was taking a C4. Oh no, he had Barb. So now you're not going to have the bandit either. You're not going to have the gun of Iconic. The jump out from the castle unsuccessful since Pixie is way up there, expecting the play from Forest. And Spiff and Shuttle find themselves in a pretty tough situation. Nade goes out. Spiff dodges it, but he doesn't dodge the shots. Akabil will down him and finish him off with the nade. In the meantime, Shuttle gets the first kill for his team. But he's still downstairs on the site on his lonesome. The C4 will miss. The plant is going down. And the cutoff is there from Pixie. Six Karma take their very first attacking point.
It's kind of hard to sort of pinpoint why that went as badly as it did for Astralis. I mean, Skimzy, that hard-hitting first pick, followed up by another one on the main stairs from the skylight, didn't help. But from there, you sort of in a situation where Astralis, you're battling up against a 5 versus 3. You've lost some key utility. I think more than anything, it was like, let's just, you know, see the round out. We'll go to the next one, look to move on to map point there. But right now, Six Karma, a bit of a breath. We do finally hit the CEO. And you talked about it, North America, not the biggest of fans. Let's see how they handle it when it's their defense.
So they're bringing the castle. They're bringing a Mira. Trying to protect these windows using those bulletproof barricades. Dissuade Six Karma from pushing this side of the map. They'll even double up, protecting the castle barricades with the Aruni, just to make it, and the ADSs, just to make it even more difficult to flush out this mirror window. Now, the weakness of the mirror window, however, is that as the attack, you can just kind of go downstairs and nade under it. And there's nothing the defense can do. And from what I'm seeing, Astralis aren't really putting too much stock in that downstairs roam either to stop the attackers from doing that. Forrest, though, all the way down in the basement before we switched off. We saw Morphed Silhouette crawling his way through dirt, but it was expected. Forrest gets the lead-off kill onto, well, I was talking about the nade counter, the only set of nades Six Karma have been bringing.
Forrest is having a phenomenal game in terms of the entries. He's been, what, 4 of them so far for the team. 4 of his 5 kills have been opening frags, which is pretty big.
Yep.
Losing the Iana for 6 Karma, it's going to be rough, but I would imagine not irredeemable. And I think it's, again, relying off that aggression. The early pick can be quite a jarring one, especially in that first minute of play.
Iconic takes a bit of damage. Spiff almost dies as the ace makes his presence known in the main hallway. Mirror window dead as well, thanks to the Twitch drone coming in. Good utility usage from Akabil to make Iconic just a little bit more exposed. Forrest looking to come up the main stairs and pounce on that unsuspecting ace, but Skimzy has since backed off towards stock. Jack and Pixie now making their way onto this rappel, looking to duo. Utility clear coming in. Pixie looking to open up this castle barricade, but there's Wamais, there's ADSs, there's Aruni gates protecting it, and I don't think the attack has more utility to deal with the castle barricade unless they just send the Hibana pellets in, and that they do. So Jack able to open up that window and able to open up Mira. Iconic, the first defender to fall, but Forrest right there for the trade on to Skimzy. Akabil unable to hit the shot too. Down to low HP, carrying that K. So despite a lot of this utility working for the attackers and taking map control and opening angles, it hasn't netted them a lot of kills. Forrest still alive somehow as Shuttle comes in for the assist, takes out Akabil. Jack finishes off the low HP Jaeger, but he's low himself. He and Spiff, 1 bullet's worth of HP. Pixie is still stuck on this rappel on the opposite side of the map from his teammate. These 3 Astralis defenders just have to sit and wait.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure to be putting on Pixie's shoulders right now. The bulletproof camera will be spotted, so they know that Astralis is aware of where they are and how they're looking to push this one. So many crossfires. Pixie, that's a big headshot to take down to the 2 versus 2 with 30 seconds remaining. 6 Karma might just be in with a chance here if they can connect onto at least one more. Pixie spots the player at range. That is, of course, J90 in between connector. They're just burning the time here. Astralis know that they've got that win condition, but Jack lurking around. He's unfortunately going to be walking into the crosshairs. The pre-fire doesn't work. And now Pixie has to clutch up the 1 versus 2. Knows where 1 is. He needs to hit the player at the long desk. He's going to spot the head, but no, doesn't identify it. Tunnel vision to the max. And that is an unfortunate loss for 6 Karma, giving Astralis match point.
Not the best attack there, and I guess maybe... And it's weird, too, because we just saw how 6 Karma's defenses on CE got destroyed by Astralis and how easy it was for Astralis to put an attack together. But 6 Karma really struggled there. Like, yeah, they got a bunch of angles open. They dealt with the mirror windows, without really losing anything, and rather quickly, too. But they just weren't winning fights. Like, walking into that hallway... Forrest should not have survived for as long as he did. Astralis had no right getting as many kills as they did on those 6 Karma players. And each one, it looks like the attackers were just really getting out-positioned by their own angles. And that gives Astralis match point. 6-4. They go back down to lockers where they won that retake.
We finally get the Valkyrie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the first Valkyrie.
10 rounds.
On round 11.
I mean, that whole
crazy.
stock hallway was just an absolute mess of a fight. Unfortunately, 6 Karma were just walking into the blender. Couldn't quite hit the headshots. So, look, you just got to move forward. You only need 2 rounds here to push it to overtime, which is well and truly doable for 6 Karma. Yes, they've been struggling on the second half. They've only picked up the 1 round, but it's not like they've been blowout rounds.
I'm glad we finally see the Valkyrie, though. It's so weird seeing, like, first of all, it's weird seeing her still left up on bank, and it's even weirder not seeing her played until round 11, but it's going to help facilitate the roam from Iconic. Shuttle is still sticking that pulse that was also pivotal to Astralis' defense as well. Skimzy works his way in through open area, and the defense peels back. Pulse on the Valkyrie, maybe identifying this, not wanting to take an early fight since they're both very important C4s. Now that there's no smoke, each of those nitro cells just had their stock raised.
Indeed. I mean, it was always going to be a rough push into the base, and we saw that the last time. Obviously, being in the 2 versus 2 and still not being able to make it work. The clutch up from Astralis. Yeah, look, it is what it is. 6 Karma have a game plan. The Mexican Pro League players clearly know more than we do. That's why they're Mexican Pro League players and we're not.
Like, it's still reinforced. Why do you... That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Bomb located by attackers.
Oh, good though.
What should be the one kill that wins the round? For
Yeah.
them?
Maybe they're planning on opening it, and then they just want to make sure there's no Oryx. I don't know. Either way, it's a bit odd, but the defense now identifying that the attackers have worked their way into the basement. Default wall being opened by Jack to make his way into that bomb site. I just realized, wait. Is he not? He's not the one even carrying case. It's actually Skimzy on the Twitch. I think it's still upstairs. C4 from Forest goes out really early on. Does not hit anyone. The long angle being opened up by the Hibana as well, just so his team has added coverage for when he goes to the plant, since I believe Skimzy has just dropped it for him. This Ying, too, could be pivotal for 6 Karma's attack.
Attackers recovered the
Disabling these players in red.
There's no
Taking away
smoke.
those C4s.
There's no smoke in play. They've got the 3 nitro cells, make that 2 nitro cells as Jack is going for the plant attempt. Morph getting involved in the conversation, finds the opener of the round. The Candela's just making it impossible to contest. And 6 Karma will get the plant down with all 5 members, and they just mop Astralis up. Forrest, the last alive at range with the SMG-11, can do little to nothing. Doesn't even have the nitro cell. He's going to have to force his way through. Every angle of approach for him towards this site is covered. The drone there on the main stairs as well. He is a known quantity, and it's a flawless from 6 Karma in the basement attack.
Wow. Astralis just got smoked. And the Ying play is so pivotal. Because if you're Astralis and you're playing with 4 C4s, you kind of have to be in red to
And
do
no
anything.
smoke.
Yeah, because you don't have the smoke and you're just relying on C4s, you have to be in red hall to get that C4 down on default plant. And they get stunted by the Ying. There's no smoke. They can't throw it from the other site. They have to be where those Candelas are landing down. And with the C4s, I think, trying to go off from Astralis and the Candelas blinding like half the team, it gives the opportunity for 6 Karma to just work their way in and find the frags, leaving Astralis in a 1v5 post-plant that no one's ever going to win. Seems like open area is going to be the next site for Astralis that they were also successful on. Once again, bringing the Bandit, the Thorn, the Azami, putting so much stock into that top floor.
Attack timeout coming to an end there for Astralis. Obviously, pushed enough that they believe they needed against 6 Karma, which, I mean, look, justifiable. It's 6-5. 1 round away from overtime, or the map being closed out by the North Americans. And as we hit, like you said, staff and open, I think this would probably be their best bet at closing it out. But off a round like that last one, 6 Karma just absolutely brute forced their way in, got the plant down. Read into the fact that there was no smoke as well, I think, which was a big factor.
Yeah, it's odd to see a defense like that with no smoke. Again, considering that the Ying can just disable all of your nitro cell potential by throwing your Candelas into red. But Astralis, this defense worked out very, very well for them last time they went with it. We'll see if 6 Karma can crack it. They had a really good roam clear on their archives round, which came after the open area round. So I'm thinking maybe 6 Karma, learned their lesson from the first time they attacked. They had to clear the top floor because, no matter which no matter which first floor site you're going to defend, you're going to have to defend upstairs. So 6 Karma, maybe a little bit.
They're in. They're going for the plant.
Okay, Shuttle gets 1 kill onto Skimzy, and the defenders are collapsing back on site. It's a 4 versus 2 now, as Spiff gets in on the action. Akavil just sitting in the middle of the site with Case, though, gets 2 to even the man count, but Shuttle, still unknown, leans up and saves his team from losing the round, at least for now. Morphs in a 1 versus 2. He's 6-6, going up against J90 and Shuttle. J90's off site. He could isolate this 1v1, but he's not quick enough. Yazami now rotates back to support Shuttle. They know they've got Case on the site in their control. The default cam as well. Still up to watch Metal. There's only 2 ways Morph can come through. Kitchen and small office, unless he wants to make the long rotate to the window. He has 2 whole minutes to play with, so he's certainly not short on time. Send some zero cams in to get some quick site info if his teammates are looking at him. Hopefully the defense hasn't shot them too quickly, but Morph seems to just want to head his way through this small office, despite having a whole minute 40 to do literally anything else.
I believe the first cam was shot out, so they don't have open info. He's going to pop the cafeteria barricade, though. At least some misinformation coming into play. I mean, this is going to be dicey. This is going to have to be some miraculous stuff out of Morph if he wants to clutch this one up. Spots the Kiva barricade. And they do have coverage of the angle. Shuttle is just watching it. Morph swings out. Can't win it. And there you go. Astralis deny overtime. Shuttle clutches it up. And Astralis will not be risking anything. 6 Karma, though. I mean, have to be commended. What a performance they put on.
Taking Astralis all the way to 12 rounds. And also, that last round, too. I saw the vision, I gotta say. I saw the vision. Just didn't pan out in the end. I really thought that a Morph was going to have a decent chance in that round, because I was talking about, right, he's got to come through small office or kitchen door. If he goes through small office, there's a kind of a one-way Kiva barrier staring at him right where in the middle where the rotate is. But with the defense locking it off, he's kind of free to move in since Shuttle wasn't covering the rotate anymore. It looked like he had info. I think if he just wins that fight on a Shuttle, it's much more doable, but had a bit of a whiff. Astralis come away with the win, 7-5. Spiff, probably not having the debut game he wanted, but there's still plenty of time for him to get his act together.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it really could.
I mean, to be fair, like Astralis, they were pushed. They really were. It wasn't like if it had a bad game and it was an absolute run over of a 7-1 victory to Astralis. Then I could be a little bit understandable. But it was up against the Mexican Pro League team. They are tier 1 in their country as well. They compete internationally against the likes of Brazil and the Copa Elite. So this is an incredibly capable team as well. You can see they've got their own house as well. We saw that in the Olympo interview. They've got their own little gaming area as well that they all play together. They go to the movies frequently. They're much on the same level, I think, as the likes of Astralis, who are all in the same area when they're playing as well. So this was always going to be a true test, and the fact that 6 Karma still took it to 12 rounds is hugely commendable.
Yeah, really, definitely impressive from 6 Karma, going from losing to Dan 30-41 to taking Astralis to 12 rounds. So definitely commendable. Definitely a team to, I mean, we already knew that 6 Karma was going to be a team to watch out for just from their performance in the qualifier, but I think this really cements that 6 Karma are going to be a force to be reckoned with for the remainder of the tournament. And there were a couple rounds that easily could have gone either way, both to make a case for Astralis taking it more dominantly and for 6 Karma pushing it to overtime or even winning outright. Yeah,
I mean, even that last round, it almost put it down to a coin toss. A couple of gunfights that if they'd gone the other way likely would have signaled a 6 Karma victory and overtime on the cards, but it was a gamble that 6 Karma opted to take. They wanted to go for the straight cut and through printer. They did get into the site. They were looking to get the plant down, but unfortunately that's when Astralis, cottoned on, turned their guns on to every single member that was in sight and murdered them.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Especially the first kill from Shuttle to pick off the Lion, definitely delaying that rush by just the slightest split second to allow someone to come back downstairs and help him, who I think was Iconic. Whoever was playing the Bandit, either Iconic or Forrest to, I think, chime in, get a kill. The trades going back and forth were a big focal point of that round. And I gotta say, I do like the direction that Astralis are going. Of course, again, roster changes. There's always going to be kinks to work out. Astralis, this is kind of an inter-regional match, so it's always going to be a little bit weird, especially with a new pickup. But I think they can definitely come away happy with this win. 6 Karma were doing some pretty interesting stuff that I certainly would have expected them to do.
Well, I mean, look, it's that quintessential sort of, Copa Elite play style, which is quite aggressive. I think there probably a couple of rounds in the first half where if they'd maybe eased off that hyper aggression, could have gone the other way. Look, they did make it work. They brought it to a 3-3 half. They made it look good too against Astralis when they were attacking. So, look, it's a shame that they couldn't quite take us to overtime, but for a first match in the competition against one of North America's, top competitors, I wouldn't be that disappointed, honestly, if I was 6 Karma.
Yeah, definitely not. And we're just waiting for stats in the interview to pop up, and Actually, I just saw who's doing the interview. That's cool. So I'm not gonna spoil it. I won't spoil it. I'll wait for the surprise. But Six Karma, I think their biggest weakness in this game was, I want to say, kind of getting ahead of themselves. Like, there were a lot of rounds where it seemed like they had a foothold, they had an opening pick, and they would peek into Astralis. Like, it's kind of like the same thing as with like EQV4, right? They kind of get an opening, they get a foothold, and then just all die. And their adaptability wasn't on point either. Astralis would bring out something like the Monty, right? And Six Karma just didn't really know what to do.
There you go, your numbers on your screen. I mean, look at that. Forest 4-0 on the entry. Shuttle had a phenomenal game, 12-5. It was just big numbers. I mean, Archibald as well has to be commended for the showing that he had 11-7, 2-3. Not quite the entry game that he was looking for, but for the most part, it was big stuff from both teams.
Yeah, I talked about Skimzy being the player to watch, but Archibald definitely showed out. But we can move on to the interview now. We have one of the Astralis members ready to talk to, and it's none other than Wafer. Wafer, have you been announced?
I mean, I think this is my announcement.
This is your announcement. Let's go.
Yeah. You guys
I get
have
to
the
be part of it.
exclusive right now. Thank you.
That's awesome. So first of all, congratulations. You're getting picked up to Astralis. That's huge, dude. I'm super happy for you. So going from LG to Astralis, what's kind of the biggest difference in terms of like environment?
In terms of environment, I think the energy that the Astralis member have. I mean, it's like crazy. It's like they are on pre-workout every single minute on the day. You know, it's like crazy. It's like crazy.
Yeah, that's a T1 style. At 9 to 5. So going up against Six Karma, do you think that some of the struggles we saw from Astralis was just the fact that not only do they have Spiff coming into a brand new system, but also the fact that there's kind of regional differences between you guys and 6K?
Well, I think they're a good rival. They're a good opening. They're a good team. I don't even know how to answer this question. I don't even know how much information I can release, to be honest. So
yeah,
I would say that. I mean, I don't think there's like a difference between like the regions or something like that. It's just like, well, they're a pretty good team. It was a good match. So I actually like that match. Yeah.
We noticed too, with them defending CEO twice, you guys having tremendous attacks on it is, and then you guys only going to CEO once after you completed the entire site rotation first. Why do you think CEO has kind of fallen off a bit in at least the NA scene?
Well, I think it's mainly because how the NA teams play it, So I think it's basically with the Astralis playstyle and the Astralis playstyle actually fit pretty well for that bomb site, So I think it's more because of NA they're watching that bomb site in the incorrect form. So I think that's the answer. Yeah.
Speaking of watching, so obviously the bans, Cade and Warden leaves a lot of big defenders up, right? Azami, Mira, Valkyrie, and on a bank, those are really powerful operators, but we didn't see you guys bring Mira on lockers, and we didn't see Valkyrie until like round 11. Is there just not, you guys don't view, especially the Valkyrie, you guys just don't view the Valkyrie as important on bank, despite it being such a big map?
Well, it's basically because the team we playing against, right? We had like a plan, so we're sticking to that plan. So it's more because of like the strategical part that we put in on this map, So it's basically because of that and the rival we playing against. It doesn't mean say like the setup period we don't play. It's just like the opening we playing, right? We don't feel necessary at that time.
Gotcha. And then one final question, Spiff, I love the guy. I've casted him forever in T3. He got the call up straight to T1. What was it that you guys saw in Spiff that made you want to pick him up without any experience in T2? And what did he bring to the team over DP Fire?
I mean, he's a beast. That's it. He's a beast. To be honest, I was not too much focused on the trialing and all that part. Some things right there, but I mean, he's a beast. That's the only thing. He's actually a good player and a good entry player. So that's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, can't argue with that. We call him Spiff Don't Whiff for a reason. But Wafer, again, huge congrats for getting picked up from Astralis. You love to see it. Anything you want to say to the stream before we sign off?
Well, I just want to say thank you. That's it. I mean, we're gonna do the best that we can. Yeah,
so.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see you guys at Invite. Wafer, congratulations on the win, and I look forward to seeing you guys with Spiff more in the future.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
You too. Oh, lock screen. There we go.
Look, if nothing else, I have to say, incredibly humble on the announcement and as you know, new coach for Astralis there, even in their victory. We look, I respect, nothing but respect. They did put on the show. Like you said, it wasn't the best showing from Spiff, but for a first matchup, it could have been far worse. And it just goes to show there is exciting stuff in the future for this Astralis roster.
Definitely. Happy to be happy that SCS got to be a part of the Wafers announcement, getting picked up to Astralis suit, going from LG to Astralis, T1. Huge ups to the guy. He's going to be going to Invite. But we're going to be going to a break. We got one more game, ladies and gentlemen. One more, and it's going to be another T2 x T3 mashup that you're not going to want to miss. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the final game of the night just after this.
Pollard's on a double, though, and he finds the third.